It is, of course, primary day in 5 states across the country. Voters went to the polls in Idaho, Kentucky, North Carolina, Oregon, and Pennsylvania. And there in the Keystone State, the Senate race is among one of the closest watched this election season. On the Democratic side, their lead contender, Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman, cast his vote from the hospital today. He's undergoing a procedure tonight to implant a pacemaker following a stroke on Friday. On the Republican side, party infighting, a Trump endorsement, and a candidate with a possible tie to the insurrection. Here's ABC's congressional correspondent Rachel Scott.
With the fate of the U.S. Senate hanging in the balance, all eyes are on the state of Pennsylvania. Senator Pat Toomey is vacating his seat, and several Republicans have thrown their hats into the ring in a race that from the start has had its fair share of twists and turns.
This is one of the wildest races I've ever seen, if not the wildest. There was a front runner, Sean Parnell, who entered the race and then withdrew after his estranged wife accused him of abuse. So it's always been a little more unsettled.
It's a 3-person race to become the Republican nominee, with a number of voters still undecided. The biggest name on the ballot, Dr. Oz. Dr. Mehmet Oz is a former surgeon, best known for taking over daytime TV screens with the Dr. Oz Show. Now he's looking at another career change.
Pennsylvania needs a conservative who will put America first.
Oz's campaign received a major jolt in April.
Another person today, Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania.
A coveted endorsement from former President Donald Trump, the same kind that already lifted J.D. Vance to win in the Ohio Senate primary, and Alex Mooney to a win in a West Virginia House primary.
It wasn't a surprise that former President Trump went with Dr. Oz because they're both true media personalities. They both understand the power of media. They both understand the power of a soundbite.
Oz appeared at Trump's rally in Greensburg, Pennsylvania on May 6th.
President Trump endorsed me because he said I was smart, tough, and I will never let you down. He did his homework. He wrote that announcement himself because I am smart, because I'm tough as nails, and I will never let you down.
Voters we spoke to at that rally appeared divided on Oz and whether Trump made the right call. While some trusted the former president,
President Trump supports Dr. Oz. I also support Dr. Oz.
Others were disappointed.
I just don't feel like he represents Pennsylvania.
If you state something, if you have a position or a policy, stand by it and own it. Don't flip-flop.
Flip-flopping has been a chief criticism of Oz's campaign.
He's a Hollywood liberal that has held a set of positions that he has flip-flopped on every single one.
While Oz has expressed hardline Republican views during his campaign, opponents have pointed out that some of his past comments don't match up. One of the key discrepancies that's in the national spotlight, abortion. Oz and the other candidates facing renewed questions on the issue after the leak of a Supreme Court opinion striking down Roe v. Wade, an issue sure to play a factor in the general election.
Abortion is now on the ballot. Abortion is going to be on the ballot for every primary going forward, and abortion is going to be on the ballot now for the general election.
Oz expressed concern about abortion restrictions in Alabama on The Breakfast Club in 2019.
I wouldn't want anyone in my family to have an abortion, but I don't want to interfere with everyone else's stuff.
Life starts at conception. I'm a heart surgeon. I value it.
Oz is still toward the top, benefiting in part from that endorsement and the name recognition.
A name like Dr. Oz, who has no political leanings previously, has never held office before, nor has really engaged in a policy discourse throughout the years. It allows him to catapult to the top. And he's been able to stay there due to the name recognition, and that automatically brings in fundraising as well.
On primary day, ABC News was the only network with Oz as he cast his vote in Huntington Valley.
I won. I'm very proud of the president's endorsement. He said I was smart, tough, and I'll never let you down. I just cast a vote for myself, which is not a humble thing to do, but it's what I'm humbly asking all Pennsylvanians to do.
Oz's chief adversary for much of the race has been David McCormick, the former CEO of Bridgewater Associates in Connecticut. McCormick, a Pennsylvania native, served in the Bush administration before moving to the hedge fund. His wife, Dina Powell, served in the Trump White House.
He's really run as a conservative firebrand. I think that he has stuck around because he's trying to make the pitch that he's the more authentic, true conservative.
McCormick's opponents jumping on his business dealings with China.
He is China first.
Okay.
He made his fortune in China.
McCormick's campaign defending the candidate, saying he's been tough on China his whole life, and that he's the only one in the race with proven experience of standing up to the Chinese Communist Party. but Trump himself attacking McCormick at his rally.
I don't know David well, and he may be a nice guy, but he's not MAGA. He's not MAGA.
McCormick and Oz both have financial strength in their corners, each raising more than $15 million. Much of it loans from their own pockets, and they've invested quite a bit in attacking each other.
Mehmet Oz, a complete and total fraud.
The real McCormick, outsourcing our jobs, defending China.
It's ugly, and it's non-stop. If you live in Pennsylvania, you are going to see 4 or 5 ads in a row. For voters, there's a lot of kind of just oversaturation and fatigue there, which could impact what they decide to do at the polls as well.
As Oz and McCormick duke it out, a grassroots candidate has surged to the forefront.
You do not have to hold your nose and vote for the lesser of two evils.
Conservative commentator Kathy Barnett has just a fraction of the funds compared to her two opponents, but has emerged as a formative opponent in the polls, recently nearing their levels. At Trump's rally to support Dr. Oz, a number of voters ABC News spoke with showed their support for Barnett.
Kathy Barnett. Oh, I'm with Kathy Barnett all the way.
I love Kathy Barnett.
Kathy Barnett brings a totally new demographic to that stage. She's an African-American woman, a conservative commentator who has really run an excellent grassroots campaign.
She's also jumped on her rival's former and long-standing out-of-state residency. McCormick in Connecticut, Oz a longtime resident of New Jersey.
I can promise the people of Pennsylvania that when these carpetbaggers lose, you will never see them again. And if they should win, you will never see them again.
Barnett's personal story of being the byproduct of rape has helped her connect with voters and has galvanized her base.
I was not just a lump of cells. As you can see, I'm still not just a lump of cells. My life has value.
But as Barnett has risen to the top, so too have previous tweets she has sent, displaying homophobic and anti-Muslim opinions. Barnett denying making those statements on primary day.
That is not true. Again, that is a narrative that fits the agenda of those who do not want the people of Pennsylvania to have a better choice. I have said nothing of that kind. That is not true. It is all a lie.
And ABC News verifying these images first shared by an independent researcher, showing Barnett marching toward the Capitol on January 6.
Do you have any regrets about being there on January 6th? Any regrets at all?
Oh, excuse me.
Did you go inside the Capitol that day?
No, she did not. Anything to the contrary.
The race posing another test of Trump's influence on the Republican Party, and if his endorsement carries the weight that candidates need to win.
When you have former President Trump endorsing you, that automatically gets you the headlines. But then you also, too, have different factions of the Republican base who are just as active in the state of Pennsylvania, just as active in the minds of voters who are endorsing other candidates.
The Republican Party in Pennsylvania, I think they see Trump as their leader, but I think they also feel like they have the autonomy to support Trump and support someone else.
Fascinating to see how this all plays out. Rachel Scott joins us now from Philadelphia. Rachel, with polls set to close in less than an hour in this critical Senate primary, what are you looking for in particular as far as the results on the GOP side?
Well, the big headline, obviously, here, Lindsay, is just the test of the power of Trump's endorsement here. We saw that play out, obviously, in Ohio, helping propel J.D. Vance to victory there. But the big question is will it carry over here to Pennsylvania, a state where people have been working to out-Trump each other in this race as well? Another thing I'm really watching for, Lindsay, is just the undecided voters. You know, polls show that around 18% of Republican voters were still having to make up their minds. They were still undecided. We certainly met many of them at Dr. Oz's event just the night before today's primary. And so I'm very eager to see whether or not those undecided voters decided to lean toward Dr. Oz or whether or not they went with Kathy Barnett.
Right,
Lindsay?
how much water that Trump endorsement holds there. Rachel Scott, our thanks to you. We'll be checking back with you in a little later.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.